One of the gnarliest off-road RC races just happened, and they had over 800 race entries, including the world's best drivers, all battling it out over 5 days of intense racing. But there's just one issue. It rained a lot. So how'd it go, and how'd they still race? Well, let's talk about it. This is the 2023 DNC, also known as the Dirt Nitro Challenge. With Pro RC racing, there's few classes more prestigious than the 1/8 scaled off-road class. And it's the class to race if you want to run with the big boys. And at DNC, they raced 1/8 scale exclusively this year. Racers traveled from all over the world, bringing the best of the best to one track, with a level of competition normally reserved for a national or world event. The DNC is just a regular annually run race though, but at the same time, it's more than that. You see, the DNC event is kind of old, first held in the year 2000, making this the 23rd year of the event, and they've never missed or canceled one of them. That's a lot of time to build a reputation, and the DNC certainly has built one. Now, the mastermind behind this event is Joey Christensen from the Dirt, who since the beginning has personally built every DNC track. Over the years, his designs have become quite legendary, characterized by big moto jumps, railable berms, and lofty elevation changes. It's a track style like no other, and one of the most anticipated elements to this race, and this year's DNC track does not disappoint. The rain sure did, but we'll get to that in a minute. Now, this year's DNC was held at the Fairgrounds of Paris, California. It's about an hour drive west from Palm Springs. Impressively, this is the coolest fairgrounds I've ever seen, including dirt bike tracks, a dirt oval sprint car track, there's 2 RC tracks with the big main DNC track in this space, and there's a second smaller 10 scale track here in this space. These satellite images are obviously old, but it's there. Next to the RC track is the BMX track, which is quite famous in its own right. And then lastly, there's this big old go-kart track on the far side. There's also this old schoolhouse on the grounds, this windmill and water tower, plus this old green train car that you can go inside. It's so cool. This place is awesome. Now, for the racetrack, it's huge. It's at least 200 by 100 feet, but that's just my guess. The layout looks fast and fun with tons of jumps, an over-under bridge, berms, and a lot of elevation changes. There aren't many bumps on the track, but give it 5 days of driving and that'll change. Cars are scheduled on the track for the very first time on Wednesday for practice. Thursday and Friday are reserved for qualifying, and then Saturday and Sunday are the main races. It's crazy to think that they need 5 days to get through only 4 classes of racing. But with all the subcategories under each of those classes, it becomes a pretty intensive schedule. In total, there are 833 race entries for the event, with Nitro Buggy being most popular. Unfortunately, the weather doesn't care what's popular, and Wednesday would be the only decent day of weather, and the only day those 833 entries could drive on the track before it flooded. So where'd they race? Well, as an act of defiance to the weather gods and to show just how superhuman he really is, Joey Christensen built a second off-road track overnight, literally. The fairgrounds have this covered area back here with the concrete slabs, so knowing the rain was coming and going to stay for the week, Joey started piling up the dirt here and shaping a new track on Wednesday. I recorded this footage at about 3 p.m. and there's nothing here, it's just dirt. But by midnight, this was a finished racetrack with jumps formed, pipes laid, and a timing and scoring system working. It's completely mind-blowing how fast Joey and his team built this second track, because come Thursday morning, they were racing like nothing had happened. It's true, this track was smaller, had fewer jumps, and wasn't nearly as well lit. But it doesn't matter. The really important thing here is it was covered, it was dry, and they could race. The covered track area was also a good opportunity to have your pit area in a dry spot, and we put the AMain Hobbies tent right up front near the action, handing out items and helping out the team. Over a dozen sponsor drivers for AMain and or ProTech were there racing, representing the team, and striving for that win. Since no one had practice on this new track, everyone was pretty equal come Thursday morning, but after a few days of driving, that starts to change. Over time, the track also starts to change with some serious bumps forming around that pit lane corner. This dirt is soft and loamy with little to no rocks. It's really nice dirt. but these powerful cars are just chewing through it. So every day the track crew was out there filling in and packing the dirt down, and every day the bumps returned, but to no fault to the track crew. Come the weekend, the track was looking as good as possible because the Pro Nitro AMain races are due, and they're a 45-minute main event. Keep in mind, lap times are about 18 to 19 seconds, so 45 minutes is a really long time. In the end of all that racing, AMain Hobbies and Pro Tech team driver Ryan Mayfield would take the Pro Nitro buggy win with his Techno, completing 152 laps in 45 minutes, beating Dakota Fenn by less than 2 seconds, and what a battle they had. The Nitro Truggy AMain would be similar, with the win going to AMain Hobbies and Pro Tech team driver Ty Tessman, who put down 157 laps in 45 minutes with his X-Ray Truggy, which is just dizzying to think about. Now, if you guys are interested, you can watch all the racing action and see the final results over at liverc.com, and we'll put a link to those down below. Other than that, I'm gonna leave you guys with my favorite part of filming RC cars: watching them crash in slow-mo. Enjoy.